How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? This is the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Of course, we come to you each and every day with the world of HBCU sports and abroad. Today would be no exception to the rule. We have on the line with us today a young lady that I'm going to identify her as a leading force for the Mississippi Valley Devils athletic program, and that is none other than Miss Dianthia Ford-Kee. How are you today, ma'am?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Well,
Happy to be here.
we're happy to have you here, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to meet with us here on the Mike Prince Show and the Open Mic Broadcast Network as we take a whirl around the Southwestern Athletic Conference and the different aspects that it take for just leading an athletic program in such a time as this.
Yes, it is a very interesting time as we just came back from the NCAA National Convention, where in over about 15 years or more we have not had an association-wide vote. So it is an interesting time in athletics and specifically here at the Valley as well.
Well, before we get any further, would you enlighten our listening audience on how you came to where you are today as the athletic director at Valley State?
I'm originally from Lawrenceville, New Jersey, and started my career path at Shaw University, where I had the opportunity to serve as the head volleyball and softball coach for 14 years and their senior woman administrator. From there, I engaged myself in my craft to the point where I served on several NCAA national committees as well as conference committees and other outside entities during my 18 years on the main campus of Shaw University. And during that time, I was approached about an opportunity at my alma mater to lead Fayetteville State University and Lincoln University of Pennsylvania, and sought out those two opportunities and was afforded the opportunity to become the athletic director at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania in 2008. During that time, Lincoln was an NCAA Division III member, and I helped transition Lincoln back to to Division II and back to the CIAA. And from there, I was afforded the opportunity to become the next athletic director at Mississippi Valley State University, and I accepted that opportunity, and I've been here since 2013 and counting.
I like that, and counting. That is always a good thing, and counting. Now, let me first say congratulations because we know that athletic director is slightly changing, but it is pretty much a male dominated atmosphere. What were some of the first things you had to do to make the adjustment to let them know, hey guys, I'm here and I'm in the game as well?
Well, I think for me, as I shared yesterday in another interview setting, it was about showing your worth and proving the contributions that you're making makes a difference in the day-to-day lives of the students that you serve.
Okay, so put aside all the other obvious attraction or distraction, whatever you want to say. Just give me the opportunity, and I'll let you know that I'm worth my weight in gold.
Absolutely. I think what helped me transition to this role was the engagements that I had on the various platforms nationally and within the conference, and how my work ethics showed a level of commitment for growth, not only personally for me, but for the institutions that I was serving.
Right now, we're speaking with Miss Dianthia Ford-Kee. She is athletic director at Mississippi Valley State. Mississippi Valley, part of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. A lot of people forget just how young this university is. Founded in 1950. That's not that long ago.
Absolutely. Next year, we'll be celebrating our 70th anniversary. And we're looking forward to all the fun activities that will come through in the 2019-20 academic year when we'll turn 70 years old. Valley has only been a part of the NCAA Division II governance process since 1982, and from that time, Valley has made some leaps and bounds.
Some leaps and bounds, no doubt about it. Still an evolving project, if you allow me to use that word, evolving. And what a lot of people don't understand is that we all have to crawl before we walk. And being in 1982, I was still in high school. I'm not going to ask what you were doing in 1982, but I.
Graduating from Fayetteville State University.
Well, I wasn't going to put you out there like that, but since you went ahead and did it, but 1982 is not far, and sometimes a realistic thing is that all budgets are not created equal. And while some are saying, well, why is this that, and why is that this, you're still having to learn to adjust with a budget and to a degree some budget restrictions. How creative do you have to become when it comes to cutting up the pie as even as possible?
Well, it's having a philosophy of you want everyone to have success, but within that success, what are your what I call your guiding principles to achieving that type of success? I have worked at two private institutions that also did not have the most resources, but using your gifts and talents to help compensate yourself for what you don't actually have in the dollar column that can possibly eventually change the pendulum swing, I would say. Valley is one of the lowest budgeted programs in the SWAC, and my big philosophy is know who you are and work within the confinement of your constraints to better your situation. And since I arrived at the Valley, we did not actually play a lot of guarantee games other than in men's basketball. Our guarantee contracts in football were very minimal. And in order to begin to try to change the trajectory, we decided to increase the number of games that we would play for guarantees. And unfortunately to say, we do have to use those guarantees to help fuel our budget to be the product that you currently see. And I like to feel good about the fact that we do not offer everything our counterparts offer, such as mostly all of our other institutions offer some percentage of Pell Grants, as well as all of the Pell Grant awarded back to a full scholarship athlete. But our financial aid agreements include those funding as it relates to us supplementing a student's education here at the Valley. And to say that my teams consistently perform at a high level, although we may not win all the ball games, folk recognize we are a force to be reckoned with when they meet us on the playing surface.
Okay, that sounds very good and very great the way you explain that, because that was going to be my next question. And you have the numbers. I kind of try to research, and you can clear up if I'm off base or bring me up to speed. From my last checking, I know there are 63 scholarships available for football on the FCS level. And when I last checked, I think you guys were somewhere in between 36 and 38 scholarships for football. Is that close off or correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
We have the maximum scholarship available in football would be 63 full scholarships that can be spread over 85 student athletes in that particular sport. However, our overall budget would only award 31 full scholarships.
Okay, 31. So if I were to try to use some creative math of thinking, 31 quote-unquote full scholarships could actually become possibly 62 half scholarships, plus whatever the Pell Grant would fill in?
It would actually be 31 full with no Pell Grant.
No, what I'm saying, but being, when you say you have to use creative ways of getting things done, so if you had, instead of offering 31 full scholarships, you could offer 62 half scholarships, and then whatever the scholarship doesn't cover, Pell Grant could cover.
That's somewhat correct, because basically right now a student that's receiving full Pell would receive about $6,095. And what we, based on our cost to attend, which is one of the lowest in the state of Mississippi and probably across the country, we're looking at having to supplement about $10,000 as it relates to each student. So we probably can do a little bit more.
Okay. 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 Now, my next question, do you have a map zoned out to where you guys prefer to do your recruiting? I know it's always no place like home, but do you have boundaries like northern states or even, I know southern states because of the geographical location, but do you have a certain area that you like to go and recruit?
Of course, we want to recruit the Mississippi student. That's very advantageous for our budget in respect in twofold. One, what it costs for a Mississippi student to attend the university, the Mississippi scholarships and state aid that is afforded to help supplement the cost to attend. But it also gives us an opportunity to put more butts in seats. So that is a priority for me as it relates to my coaches, really beating the bushes in Mississippi and the corridors of Mississippi, such as Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Louisiana, as it relates to a 2 to 3 hour driving distance, to be able to get those families to come back and support their student athletes in our games. That's really a high priority for me, but we welcome any student that finds Mississippi Valley as a valued entity for them to further their education and be a part of our program.
Okay, we're talking again with Miss Dianthia Ford-Kee, athletic director at Mississippi Valley State, talked about the creativeness that we have to use for budgets and the history that Valley is going to be celebrating its 70th year. Now, I want to call you Dr. Ford-Kee, and it's probably deservedly so. I want to make sure I got an invite for the party, that 70th anniversary party when you get here. Is that possible to get there?
Absolutely.
Now I'm gonna hold you to that now, and I'll be there to get across there. Now, one thing that most of our HBCU counterparts in the SWAC in particular, we're finding creative ways that we can provide service. When I say service, the way of watching the games or listening to the games. And what creative ways are you guys using at Valley State to get your student athletes covered?
Well, actually, we live stream all of football and basketball for free, and as well as we select certain games of all of our other Olympic sports and show them live stream as well. Another thing that we're doing is doing little PSAs with our student athletes and inviting folks to come out and support them at their home events or in areas in which we have alums and our current and former student athletes live. For example, when our track team goes to Birmingham, we make sure all our constituents in that area know that we're in the local community and they can come out and support us.
Okay. Is that now the streaming, and you're saying you're doing select games? Now, at one point, you guys were doing radio as well, correct?
Yes, we still have our radio broadcast with Lee Hoff. They actually are at every football and every basketball game, but we have not brought that radio broadcast to the other sports at this time.
Okay. Now, being a radio guy myself, there's no place like radio, and radio can fit every sport known to man. It doesn't matter what it is. If you can talk about it, we can broadcast it. So we're looking forward to that. Now, it's no secret where we are. We're in the middle of basketball season. And basketball season, when I think of Valley, is one of the first sports that come to mind. What would you say would be the identifying sport related to Valley?
Well, when we're talking about our revenue generating sports that really has been rising to the occasion, but we're still not winning ball games, it would be men's basketball. We have played quite a few teams very tough this year. I like to think we have the talent. We just have not been able to close the door on being able to put that W in the column this first half of the conference season. But to see some talented young people and play Texas Southern and Alabama State and so many others so well in the first half, it gives me some hope that the second half of the basketball season we're going to hit that curve and take off running to getting some more wins.
Now, I just heard you smack those hands together, Miss Ford-Kee, and like take off to get ready to run. I'm assuming that you have a love for basketball.
Absolutely. I love all of my sport teams, but being a former collegiate basketball athlete, it does have a special place in my heart.
Okay. Now, with that, do you see yourself? I know we're all coaches to a degree. Do you see yourself looking a little bit harder at the X and O factor when it comes to basketball, whether it be men or women?
Well, I'm going to tell you this about me. I'm very critical when it comes down to all of my sport programs. My student athletes have learned that I'm totally connected. If I have the ability to watch them through streaming, I go to their events, not just solely at home. Like this weekend, I will travel with softball, and I'm a former softball coach. I'll travel with baseball, all of them, and I sit down weekly, every 2 weeks, and have one-on-ones with my head coaches just to allow them the opportunity to share with me what they see that's going well within their programs and what's not going so well. And we talk about what can we do as a team to help them reach the goals and potentials from their athletes that we're looking for. So I don't want to say that I'm more critical of basketball because it is my sport that I played and I have so much passion for. I think I have it across my programs because I want all of them to do well. And I want them to be contenders. And quite naturally, I know we have been, during my leadership, we've only won one championship, and that's in women's cross country. And we've been in the championship game as it relates to softball. My coaches are really putting together strategies to try to enhance our opportunities to win SWAC championships and represent well, not just show up in postseason play.
I love that. I can hear the competitor in you, and I was going to ask you a question, but I won't ask you this question. Yeah, I'm going to ask it anyway. I'm going. I'm going. Does it frustrate you as a competitor to be so close and yet so far at times?
Absolutely, absolutely. And having been an athlete and a two-sport athlete in Division II level, and become a coach on the Division II level, helping my coaching staff and my athletes understand the importance of work ethic as it relates to being great at what you do. I'm not a 9-to-5 AD. I come in and I stay here till the job is done. That whatever needs to be completed on this day is completed. And when I come in the next day, I can pick up the next responsibility and make sure it's done. And teaching young people about commitment and understanding you have to have really what I call love for what you do in order for you to get up every day and and seek to do it well every day. And I think in this generation of young people, we have to spend more time understanding our student athlete better than what a coach had to do during my era as an athlete and as a coach. So there are things that I'm trying to implement in my coaching the coach to help them be great at coaching their athletes, because they're not coaching the type of athlete that I coached back in 1990 to 2004. They're coaching a different breed of young people.
Amen to that. It is a different breed entirely, from the way they dress to the actual philosophy of not only them, but the parents that are lending them to us for their educational careers. So trust me, I don't envy you guys at all from that aspect. Now, I've heard you refer a lot to D2 competition, of course, where you're familiar with, where you coached at and had some success. And we all have critics, we all have naysayers, and I'm pretty sure you may have heard the whispers that maybe, Valley need to consider possibly going to D2. How do you respond to that?
That, in my opinion, is not an option for this institution for many reasons. The formulation of how this program became a Division I program would not best suit this program at a Division II level. I've had over, like I said, 18 years of experience, 6 years on the NCAA Division II Management Council, the new structure of Division II. I just don't believe Mississippi Valley would make a good fit as it relates to the Division II philosophy and would have the success if they dropped from Division I to Division II. I think what Valley has to focus on is our restructuring to become one of the powerhouses in the SWAC, to gain and and really to garner the respect that we can be a viable Division I program. And that comes with individuals reconnecting back to this university. Also, the fact that when I arrived here, there were communications out there that Mississippi Valley doors may close. And by Dr. Bynum coming in and establishing a strong infrastructure, and now with Dr. Gerald Briggs following his footsteps, I really believe Valley is going to move to a different level, and you're going to see that happening very soon in our athletics program.
So are you saying that was simply a rumor that the doors were about to close, or was there some reality to that?
Well, I'm going to say when I arrived, it was a heavy topic of a subject that was talked about a lot, whether Valley needed to merge with other public institutions here in the state of Mississippi, or whether Valley truly had merit for herself. And Valley has proven that. And we've gotten accolades and acknowledgement based on the body of work that's been done under the Bynum administration and currently under the Briggs administration.
Okay, very well. Because sometimes people will hear something and they'll take it and run down the highway, and before you get back home, it'll be like, Valley closing their doors, Valley closing their doors. So we just want to make sure that all the air is clear on that. We're talking with Director of Athletics, Miss Ford-Kee of Mississippi Valley State, the Devils and the Develettes. You have been a true open book, and I truly, truly want to thank you for making yourself available, and hopefully this will not be the last time. But what I would like for you to do is, you're talking to my child, we'll say a young Ford-Kee who's a two-sport athlete, and you're there to sell Valley to my child and I. What's your sales pitch?
First and foremost, I remind parents and the student when they arrive at Valley that some of the things that you're going to get here that you may not get at other institutions that you have visited is that home family feeling. Many parents and student athletes don't necessarily know the athletic director. You will know me because I'm an open door athletic director. I believe engaging with the parents, the students. I believe that it's important that these individuals know they can touch me, that I'm just not a woman in a suit, a polo, and wearing the title as director. We're going to care about your student athletes' well-being, and that's holistically. That begins with their academic success and pursuit of an undergraduate degree on to preparation for a career and not a job. You will find that you will have the opportunity to engage with your professors here at the Valley one-on-one, limited class sizes, ratio sometimes in your major, 10 to 15 students. You will have access to the tools that you need to be successful here. We are an up-and-coming program, and we have identified coaches who will represent the Valley based on the ideas that we've put forth. They must care. What do I mean about care? One, they must be able to communicate and communicate well and effectively. Two, they must be accountable, the A in care. Or they must show respect. Respect for the Valley, respect for themselves, and respect for those students that they serve. And E, wake up every morning to excel for excellence as a member of the Mississippi Valley team. One goal, one team, one Valley in motion.
That is very well said, if you allow me to say, ma'am. Very well said. She is Miss Dianthia Ford-Kee, Athletic Director for the Mississippi Valley State Devil Sports Program. I am the radio guy, the Dr. Mike Prince. Of course, the Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook handles are at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Of course, the website is obnradio.com. Locally in the Prairie View community, 87.9 FM, and our 24-hour dial-in message line, 713-570-6736. And until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.